Houston is one of the most powerful economic cities in America. Energy, logistics, real estate, sports, and private capital all collide here at massive scale. But beyond the skylines and oil headlines, there's a quieter layer of power shaping how money actually moves. This is not a story about overnight fame or viral success. It's about positioning, timing, and individuals who learned how to operate inside Houston's economic engine and convert access into long-term leverage. Some built fortunes through entertainment and culture, others through real estate, finance, or industrial assets. A few moved between all of them. This is not a forensic ranking of bank accounts. It's a strategic look at Black wealth and influence in Houston, and how certain figures built control inside one of America's most competitive power economies. 10. Trae the Truth, the community architect. We begin our countdown not with a man who lives in a gated tower, but with a man who owns the block. Fraser Othell Thompson. The third, known to the world as Trae the Truth, is the definition of social capital converted into financial equity. Most people know him as a Texas rap legend, a member of the Screwed Up Clique with a deep, recognizable voice that has narrated the Houston struggle for decades. But if you look at his tax bracket today, the music is just the marketing department for a sprawling business portfolio. Trae realized early on that fame is a depreciating asset, but land and businesses are forever. His financial engine is diversified. Trae is not just endorsing products, he is buying the franchises. He has moved heavily into the franchise space, reportedly owning interest in multiple fast food locations and dessert shops, including a highly publicized venture into ice cream franchises like Howdy Homemade, which employs individuals with special needs. This isn't just charity, it's a business model built on community loyalty. When Trae opens a business, Houston shows up. Beyond retail, his real estate portfolio in Houston is expanding quietly. He buys back the neighborhood. Through his organization, the Relief Gang, he has become the unofficial mayor of the city's crisis management, but this influence translates into massive leverage. When major corporations need to operate in Houston, they go through Trae. He creates partnerships with brands like McDonald's and heavy-hitting legal firms, acting as the bridge between corporate capital and the streets. His net worth is estimated in the high single-digit millions, but his street value, his ability to mobilize thousands of people and dollars with a single phone call, is priceless. Trae the Truth proves that in Houston, you don't have to leave the hood to conquer the boardroom. You just have to buy the deed. 9. Slim Thug, the construction boss. If Trae the Truth is the community architect, Slim Thug is the literal builder. Stave Jerome Thomas, the boss hog outlaw, gave the world one of the most iconic verses in hip-hop history on Still Tippin'. But while other rappers were spending their advances on depreciating chains, Slim Thug was studying blueprints. Slim Thug is the founder of Boss Life Construction, a company that has quietly become a serious player in the Houston real estate recovery market. After Hurricane Harvey devastated the city, Slim didn't just donate money, he mobilized crews. He realized that Houston's housing market was a goldmine for those who understood how to rebuild efficiently. His business model is brilliant in its simplicity. Buy distressed properties in the neighborhoods he grew up in, places like North Houston, renovate them with high-end finishes, and sell or rent them back to the community at affordable but profitable rates. He is gentrifying his own hood, but doing it for the benefit of the people already living there. Boss Life Construction specializes in building affordable luxury, closing the gap between low-income housing and the overpriced condos taking over the city. Slim admits in interviews that he makes more money sleeping than he does performing. His portfolio includes rows of single-family homes and land lots that have appreciated massively as Houston expands. He drives custom cars and lives in a massive estate, but his wealth is grounded in concrete and lumber. He is teaching an entire generation of Houstonians that being a boss isn't about popping bottles in the club, it's about pouring foundation in the mud. Slim Thug transitioned from selling CDs to selling keys, ensuring his fortune will last long after the music stops playing. 8. Bun B, the Burger King of the South. At number 8, we have a man who proves that your second act can be even bigger than your first. Bernard Freeman, better known as Bun B of the legendary duo UGK, is rap royalty. He is a professor at Rice University and a cultural icon. But in the last few years, Bun B has pivoted into a culinary empire that has venture capitalists lining up around the block. We are talking about Trill Burgers. What started as a pop-up food concept has exploded into one of the most valuable fast casual brands in the South. In 2022, Good Morning America named Trill Burgers the best burger in America, a title that acts like rocket fuel for valuation. This isn't a rapper slapping his name on a white-labeled product. Bun B is the active owner and face of a business scaling rapidly. The queues for Trill Burgers at events like the Houston Rodeo are legendary, generating hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue in mere days. His brick-and-mortar location in Houston has become a pilgrimage site, outperforming established national chains in per-square-foot revenue. The brilliance of Bun B's wealth strategy is intellectual property. He took the word trill, a slang term UGK popularized, and trademarked it into a corporate asset. He has monetized the culture of Houston hip-hop and served it on a bun. Investors are currently valuing the Trill Burgers brand in the tens of millions, with aggressive expansion plans to take it national. Bun B is sitting on the equity of a potential 9-figure franchise exit. While he still tours and collects royalties from a legendary music catalog, his real wealth is now cooking on the grill. He represents the perfect merger of celebrity influence and operational excellence. 7. J. Prince, the godfather of leverage. Moving up the ladder, we enter the territory of old money, hip-hop. This is not about selling records. It's about selling fear, respect, and leverage. James Prince, known simply as J. Prince, is the CEO of Rap-A-Lot Records and widely considered the godfather of the Southern music industry. His wealth is difficult to calculate because so much of it is privately held, but estimates consistently place him north of $45 million. However, the assets he controls suggest a number far higher. J. Prince built Rap-A-Lot from the trunk of a car in the notorious Fifth Ward. He didn't just sign artists, he built a vertical monopoly. He owned the masters, the publishing, and the distribution channels at a time when New York and LA ignored the South. This meant that when the Ghetto Boys went platinum, the checks didn't go to a skyscraper in Manhattan. They went to a ranch in Houston. His wealth is diversified into islands, ranches, and boxing. J. Prince managed the careers of world champions like Floyd Mayweather and Andre Ward. In the boxing world, the manager's cut is substantial, and Prince negotiated some of the most lucrative fights in history. He owns an island off the coast of Belize and a sprawling ranch in Texas that serves as his base of operations. But his true asset is his role as the ultimate power broker. In the entertainment industry, when deals get stuck or conflicts get dangerous, people call J. Prince. That service commands a premium. He is the barrier of entry for Houston's entertainment economy. While he operates in the shadows, his financial footprint is massive. He proved that you don't need to be in the spotlight to control the show. J. Prince is the gatekeeper, and the toll booth is always open. 6. James Harden, the modern mogul. We shift from the streets to the stadium. James Harden is more than just a shooting guard. He is a walking GDP. Though he currently plays for the Clippers, his financial roots and business empire are deeply planted in Houston, the city that turned him into a superstar. With career NBA earnings exceeding $330 million and endorsement deals pushing his total lifetime earnings toward $500 million, Harden has the liquidity of a small bank. But it's what he does with that cash in Houston that puts him on this list. Harden is the owner of 13, an upscale fine dining restaurant in Houston that isn't just a vanity project. It's a high-margin luxury venue that books out months in advance. He didn't just lend his name, he bought the real estate and curated the business model to cater to Houston's black elite. Beyond hospitality, Harden is a major investor. He holds equity stakes in Body Armor, which sold to Coca-Cola for billions, netting early investors a massive payout, Stance Socks, and Pura. His venture capital firm, Impact 13 focuses on identifying minority-owned startups and scaling them. Harden also signed a massive deal with Adidas worth $200 million over 13 years. But unlike traditional athletes, he negotiated for creative control and equity-like participation in his sub-brand. In Houston, he is a tycoon. He owns shares in the Houston Dynamo, MLS, and the Houston Dash, NWSL, making him a partial owner of the city's sports infrastructure. James Harden represents the new age of athlete billionaire trajectory, using the jersey to buy the stadium. 5. George Foreman, the brand king. Number 5 is a man who took a punch to the face and turned it into a $300 million fortune. George Foreman is a two-time world heavyweight champion, but his boxing purses are just pocket change compared to his business acumen. Foreman is the ultimate case study in licensing. In the 1990s, when he was approached to endorse a fat-reducing grill, he didn't just ask for a fee. He asked for a partnership. The George Foreman grill became a global phenomenon, selling over 100 million units worldwide. In 1999, Foreman sold the naming rights to the grill manufacturing company Salton, Incorporated, for a staggering $137.5 million in cash and stock. At the time, it was one of the largest athlete payouts in history, eclipsing the career earnings of Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier combined. But Foreman didn't stop there. He reinvested that windfall back into Houston. He is a prolific real estate investor with massive land holdings across Texas. He owns a fleet of luxury cars and a 40-acre estate in Huffman, Texas, complete with a private gym and animal sanctuary. Foreman also launched a butcher shop franchise, George Foreman's Butcher Shop, tapping into the high-end meat market. He is a preacher at the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ in Houston, where he has funded community centers and youth programs for decades. George Foreman's wealth is liquid, stable, and massive. He transitioned from being a physical laborer in the ring to being a global brand, proving that the smartest hands in boxing aren't the ones throwing punches, they're the ones signing contracts. 4. William Bill Perkins, the hedge fund cowboy. Now we leave the world of celebrity and enter the quiet, terrifying world of high finance. William Bill Perkins is not famous for rapping or dunking. He is famous for moving markets. He is the last cowboy of the hedge fund world. Bill Perkins manages Skylar Capital, a Houston-based energy hedge fund. He cut his teeth under the legendary oil trader John Arnold at Centaurus Energy, where they made billions betting on natural gas prices. When Centaurus closed, Perkins launched Skylar, creating a firm that manages hundreds of millions of dollars in assets. Perkins is an energy trader. He makes money on the volatility of natural gas and electricity. In Houston, the energy capital, this is the highest stakes game in town. A single correct trade can net tens of millions of dollars in a day. His personal net worth is estimated to be well over $100 million, though in good trading years, his liquidity can skyrocket. He is also a high-stakes poker player, regularly buying into million-dollar tournaments against the best pros in the world. But don't let the gambling fool you. Perkins is a cold, calculated mathematician. He wrote the book Die with Zero, arguing for a radical approach to wealth spending and life enjoyment, challenging the traditional idea of hoarding cash until death. He lives his philosophy, owning a yacht, traveling privately, and funding massive film projects. Bill Perkins represents the new Houston, intellectual, high-risk, and incredibly wealthy. Bill Perkins plays the high-stakes game of energy trading, but if you want to understand the foundational principles that allow men like him and Gerald Smith to manage billions, I've pinned a list of essential wealth-building books right here on the screen. These are the blueprints for this level of success. 3. Gerald Smith, the money manager. If Bill Perkins is the cowboy, Gerald Smith is the sheriff. He is the chairman and CEO of Smith, Graham & Company Investment Advisors, one of the nation's largest black-owned asset management firms. Gerald Smith doesn't trade his own money. He manages the money of cities, pension funds, and endowments. His firm manages approximately $6 billion in assets. Let that sink in. $6 billion. Founded in 1990, Smith Graham & Company specializes in fixed income and equity strategies. When a firefighter in Houston retires, or a teacher collects a pension, there is a good chance Gerald Smith helped grow that money. His firm is an institutional giant. Gerald Smith's personal wealth is derived from the management fees and performance incentives of this massive capital pool. While private, his net worth is easily in the high tens of millions, affording him a lifestyle of immense influence. He is a power broker in the truest sense. He sits on the boards of the New York Life Insurance Company and Eaton Corporation. He was the chairman of the Texas Southern University Foundation. In Houston, Gerald Smith is the guy the mayor calls for financial advice. His wealth is quiet, conservative, and incredibly powerful. He represents the financial backbone of Black Houston, proving that we don't just consume capital, we manage it at the highest levels of Wall Street and beyond. 2. Sherman Lewis, the infrastructure titan. At number 2, we have a man who operates in a sector so exclusive, most people don't even know it exists. Sherman Lewis is the president and founder of the Lewis Group. Sherman Lewis is a former Tuskegee Airman pilot, a man of intense discipline and patriotism. He took that military precision and applied it to business. The Lewis Group is an aviation and environmental engineering firm that secures massive government contracts. We are talking about defense contracts, logistics support for the military, and environmental remediation for massive infrastructure projects. When the government needs a jet serviced or a hazardous site cleaned up, they call Sherman Lewis. His company operates out of Houston but services clients globally. The barrier to entry in this industry is incredibly high. You need security clearances, decades of track record, and specialized technical knowledge. This gives the Lewis Group a moat around its business that protects its profits. Lewis has expanded into real estate and community development, reinvesting his government contract wealth into Houston's economy. He is a silent giant. You won't see him on Instagram, and you won't see him at the club. But his company generates revenue that makes entertainment money look like an allowance. Sherman Lewis represents industrial wealth. He builds the things that keep the country running. He is a testament to the fact that the path to hundreds of millions often runs through engineering, logistics, and service to the nation. 1. Kase Lawal, the oil baron. And finally, we arrive at the undisputed king of Houston wealth. The man who looked at the oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico and said, "I want one of those." Number 1 is Kase Lawal. Kase Lawal is the founder of KMAC International Corporation, an oil and gas exploration and production company. Kase Lawal's story is not about a single number, it's about scale. Born in Nigeria and trained as a chemical engineer, Lawal built KMAC International into a global energy company operating across Africa, the Middle East, and the United States. At its peak, the company controlled oil assets, logistics networks, and international contracts that placed it among the largest Black-owned energy firms in the world. That expansion reached multi-billion-dollar scale, putting Lawal firmly in billionaire territory during its height. While parts of the business later faced restructuring and market pressure, the footprint he built remains historic. Beyond energy, Lawal has moved capital into sports ownership, philanthropy, and infrastructure, positioning himself not as a headline figure, but as a builder of systems. In Houston's power economy, that kind of scale matters more than liquidity at any single moment. What these stories ultimately show is that wealth in Houston isn't defined by one industry or one path. It's built through timing, positioning, and the ability to operate inside systems that move billions long before the public ever notices. Some figures here command companies. Others command influence, access, or culture. But all of them demonstrate how modern Black wealth is shaped in a city where capital, risk, and opportunity intersect at full force. This is how power compounds. Quietly, strategically, over decades. If you value deep, unfiltered breakdowns of Black wealth, influence, and the structures behind them, make sure to subscribe to Black Status. More stories like this are coming next.